Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phalen, a weekly program on LSN television, also carried by a number of our radio affiliates throughout Fairfield County. And do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week. And a special thanks for the folks that showed up this last weekend at Fairfield Christian Church and all the churches that put together the Gospel According to Scrooge. That's my understanding that over 3,000 people attended during the programs over the weekend, and again we had a great audience, had a lot of fun, and I can tell you I can't think of a time that I've had a better time than being part of that production. With us this week is Phil Johnson, Operations Director within the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. Good to see you, Phil.
Good to see you, Sheriff.
As always, and I know you were able to join us.
It was a great night.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed the play. It was very professional and very entertaining and informative.
Yeah, well, I know you were out there along with a number of other people from the Sheriff's Office and beyond, so great weekend. Well, we're going to talk a little bit this afternoon about hiring within the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office, and Phil is part of the background folks, the people that make decisions on who we want to hire within the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. And for someone that's out there that may be interested in law enforcement, what are some of the things that they have to do?
Well, first of all, an individual needs to be 21 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be a U.S. citizen, have a valid Ohio driver's license, be able to speak, read, and write the English language, have a GED or a high school diploma, and also they need to be OPATA certified. And what I mean by that is they need to have completed a police academy.
Mm-hmm. So, in the police academy, there's a number of them around. I know they have one at Eastland, they have one at
Hawking.
Mm-hmm. And so they have to go through that. And that's, what, about 6 months of training?
Yes, it is. If you go full-time, it's about 3 or 4 months, I think. If you go every day, you can go part-time. Hawking College offers a police academy, and it's a lot. It's about $3,000 tuition fee to go through that academy.
Mm-hmm.
And but the good news is, once you complete that academy, you're eligible to be hired by a police department once you complete their selection process.
And so, and that can be kind of tough. I mean, I know that there's a lot of different hurdles, and just kind of take us through the part of the Sheriff's Office, some of the things that you do to make sure that we hire the best people we can.
Well, it's unlike a lot of jobs where we really scrutinize a person's background, their character. It's very important that a law enforcement officer be someone of very high moral character and integrity, and we look at their schooling, we look at their employment history. The individual will have to take a polygraph test and a psychological test further on down in the process, but a complete investigation into their background, looking at who this person is, and we want to make sure that the individuals that we hire as deputy sheriffs are high caliber.
I've often said that if you look at organizations, 3 things you have to look at if you look at a good law enforcement agency. You have to look at the leadership, you have to look at the people that you hire, then you have to make sure that you have good policies and procedures in place. And if all those things come together, the chances are you're going to have a good law enforcement agency.
That's right.
And so once they get through the process, the background process, what's the next part?
They'll take a polygraph test before the background investigation.
So that's kind of the first. Is typically the polygraph where you weed most of the people out? Because the reality is, most of the people that start the process, they don't get through it for whatever reason, right?
That is correct. And once they pass the polygraph test, the individual will come to the office. They will submit what we call, they may refer to it as an application. We refer to it as a personal history questionnaire. And in that, the applicant provides a lot of information on their background. It's about an 18-page document, and it asks all their questions regarding their background, their employment history, where they lived, where they went to school, and it asks a number of other questions involving integrity and character as well. And we take that, and then following that, we select the very best, and those individuals selected will take a polygraph test, and those that pass the polygraph test will go through a background investigation.
You know, I'm often surprised that how many times something has happened in a person's life that affects them years later. That's why I often tell young people the choices you make in high school, even in junior high school, can affect you many, many years later. Today we have a society where a lot of people have experimented with drugs. They've been involved in some inappropriate behavior, and those kind of things will come back to haunt you, especially when you get to background checks, you get to polygraphs. So young people out there, if you're interested in a career in law enforcement, really try to make good decisions now, because those are things that can affect you many, many years to come. My daughter, who's 44 years old, recently took a polygraph for a job, and she told her kid, she said, you know, I'm 44 years old, and I've gone through a selection process, and those are the kind of things that at your age you've got to be thinking about years later.
Right. And you know, I don't think you know, everybody has done something.
Yeah. We understand that everybody's wearing a halo. And
yeah,
everybody's made some mistakes, all of us.
Right. But certainly the young people need to very carefully pick their friends, and be very careful about what you do. You know, stay away from the alcohol and the drugs, and just keep a very clean life, and that will help you succeed if you want a job in law enforcement.
And certainly there are disqualifiers. In other words, things that when we look at, whether it's a traffic record, whether it's people that may have abused alcohol or drugs, or maybe being involved in the theft. I think I'm glad you pointed that out, that we understand that there's nobody that's wearing a halo. Everybody's made mistakes in their life. But the idea is, you know, it's one thing you make a mistake and learn from it. It's another thing where you see a pattern of behavior that has gone on consistently over a period of time.
Right. And just because someone has stolen something, you know, it depends on the value, how long ago, you know, and those kind of things. So there's a lot of circumstantial part to it that depends on the nature and the scope of whatever they've done will determine whether or not they'll be disqualified. But
yeah, and I can tell you now, actually this summer in June, I've been in law enforcement for 43 years, and I can honestly tell you that every day I look forward to going to work. It is a wonderful career. It's a great opportunity for people to serve the community, to have by and large, a secure job. The chances are pretty slim that once you get started, you're going to be laid off or things like that. Now, once they're hired and into the process, there is a probationary period, right?
They'll be on probation for a period of 12 months.
Okay. And that they're going to be evaluated on how they're doing, are they learning, and those type of things. And
you know, the other thing too, if I could back up just a little bit, Sheriff, you know, if a person's not going to get rich working in law enforcement, but really if you're service oriented, that's a job for someone who really has a heart that wants to help people, help protect people, and protect the community and make the community a safer place to live. And it's a service, people-oriented job.
And interesting, because no 2 days are the same.
Right.
You're out there doing a lot of different things. And typically when we hire new deputies, the first thing that happens is they are assigned to the jail. And they serve in the jail for a period of time, and then as other positions become available within the sheriff's office, typically the next thing is they go to patrol, where they're actually in the cruiser, they're doing those kind of things. And then from there, there's other opportunities, whether it may be the Detective Bureau. We have now a SCRAP team, which is a drug interdiction unit. And then the other thing we have is our Fairfield Hockey Major Crimes Unit, where it's long-term investigation. And typically what we try to do is, the way we make those selections is how they're doing within the sheriff's office. So again, it never stops. And then many of our deputies want to further their career through promotion. So we have a sergeant, lieutenant, deputy chief position that build on careers. So always a lot of different things going on within the sheriff's office. With us today is Phil Johnson, our operations director within the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. And you getting ready for Christmas?
I am. It's
Yeah.
2 weeks. It's going to be here in 2 weeks. So
Isn't that hard
I need
to believe?
get out and get my shopping done.
I think so. Well, typically I let Loretta take care of that, and then I got to do Loretta and make sure that she gets up. So it kind of makes life a little bit easier.
But I always enjoy Christmas.
Yeah, I know you do. Any special Christmas memory?
Let's see.
Not to put you on the spot.
That's a good one. Not one that really stands out where the tree caught on fire or anything like that.
I always tell folks probably the one thing that I can always remember is every Christmas Eve from the time I was born until my grandmother passed away, we would spend Christmas Eve at her house. And she had a farm out around Johnstown, and it was the old farmhouse with the barn. And every Christmas Eve we'd go out to Grandma's house and spend Christmas Eve with her. She lived to be about 97 years old.
Wow.
And after that, it just kind of like Christmas Eve. To this day, I still miss it. And she's been gone since the early 80s. But great memories.
Yes.
Phil Johnson, do appreciate you joining us. We'll have to have you come back, and we'll talk more about the selection process and many things within the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. Do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week. If you have any comments or any ideas, feel free to call me in the Sheriff's Office. The number there is 740-652-7252. That goes directly into my office. If I'm not there, my administrative assistant, Pam Rinco, can serve you. And hope you all have a safe Christmas coming up. We're going to be joining you each and every week. And again, appreciate the folks at LSN, the local cable affiliate here, that let us put this program on, along with the folks at Fairfield Christian Academy. The students actually produced this program, put it together, and receive a lot of nice comments about this program, and people say they've learned a lot. And each and every week we have a lot of different guests from within the Sheriff's Office. Sometimes we've had Chief Bailey a number of times, Chief Tussey, the Chief of Millersport, a lot of different community leaders, a lot of different folks involved in law enforcement throughout Fairfield County. Well, the clock on the wall says it's about time to go. I do appreciate you viewing and listening today. Until next week, same time, same place. God bless, and we'll see you next week.
So my uncle calls and he says he's dizzy and he's losing his balance. I'm like, Unc, you want me to take you to a doctor? He's like, no, I'm gonna look up the symptoms. I said, your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance. So he said, I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb. I said, well, use your good arm and dial 911. Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.